You're listening to the Lone Star Gridiron Sports Network.
The Hays Consolidated Hawks weekly press conference is made possible by Brandee, Otto, Realtor.
If you're looking for a local realtor, think gold and get sold with Brandee Otto Realtor with Realty One Group Prosper. Realtor Brandee Otto knows the surrounding communities inside and out. Her and her husband Jason have raised 3 beautiful daughters and have taken active roles in our community, from participating in neighborhood events and activities to school events and organizations to being a member of an area Chamber of Commerce board. She is a certified designated agent, a seller's representative specialist, an accredited buyer's representative, and certified in short sales and foreclosure. If you want somebody who really knows the area and can give you all the information you need in this very important decision, call Brandee Otto at 512-557-2728. All right, first off, Coach, congratulations on a really good victory.
Well, thank you. It's good to get started off that way.
Yeah, so it was pretty lopsided. Tell me about the game.
Well, we didn't get off to a really great start offensively. We had our troubles handling the football for a little while. Gave them a couple of turnovers early, but the defense was playing so strong and had such a great game. They kept us in it for a while, and then offensively we finally started getting going. And Kenny Gonzalez, one of our little running backs, had a big game with 90 yards rushing. Broke loose a few times along with Linford Noriega, but had a good game overall. Offensive line really stepped up, and the defensive front, but as well as our linebacker Justin Lancaster, really made a lot of plays.
And talk about the defense, because it was a shutout, and you mentioned the turnovers. Sometimes turnovers just kind of pop into your hands. Other times it's the ferocity of the defense that causes them. What were these?
Well, most of the ones that we gave up were self-inflicted. And so hopefully those are things we can correct. But I do have to give Aiken's defense some credit. They were very intense, very physical, and we did have our hands full, but it wasn't really as much as the physicality of the defense as it was just our own ball handling and some issues that we had to get corrected. But once we settled down and got those things out of the way, offensively we started clicking pretty good.
So the takeaway there is you play your game, you're not going to make those mistakes.
Well, that's certainly the way we felt, and I'm sure on their end, Aikens probably feels that way a little bit themselves. They gave us a safety early with a bad snap as well, so they had some of those kind of issues, maybe those first game jitters as well.
Yeah, call out some of the players that stood out. You mentioned the running back already. Some of the other ones, offense and defense, who stood up.
Well, defensively, I already mentioned Justin Lancaster had a pretty good game. We had several other defensive players that stood out. Justin had 10 tackles. Actually, our leading tackler was Matthew Melendez from another linebacker position. Also, Bobby Breakers, who was filling in we had an injury early, and Bobby Breakers came in at linebacker, had 10 tackles as well. Mario, our free safety from his free safety position, had 9 tackles. But the defense overall was just really, really stellar on the night. We played 3 quarterbacks on the night. The first half was handled by Tacoma Ames. And then our returning starter that is starting to get a little healthier came in and did a great job for us in the third quarter. Actually had a touchdown pass, and then we finished the game off with Andre Walker. That third quarter was Tyler McInbell, who came in at quarterback. We had some receivers. Number 18, Villalobos, did a good job of catching the ball. We had multiple guys that had catches. But as I mentioned, Kenny Gonzalez was our overall leading rusher. Leonard Noriega was the second leading rusher, and then Justin Lancaster, who was the leading tackler, also contributed quite a bit on offense, both blocking really well and then also with his runs that he had. On that offensive line, Emino Galvan was our key blocker over there on the right, on the strong side of our offensive line, as well as number 60, Mateo Lopez.
Nice. And you mentioned injuries. This is the time of year there's a lot of cramping because of the heat. Any of that going on?
Well, not on our side. I felt like we were well conditioned. Aikens had several players that had to stop the game for a minute or two to attend to cramps and so forth. But I felt like our team was pretty well conditioned. But on the very first play of the game, Dorian Hill tweaked his knee a little bit. I don't know if he got bent wrong or just hyperextended. We hope that he'll be back in a couple of weeks. I don't think it's a major injury, but the soreness and swelling has to go away before we can move forward with him. But that was a key. He was one of our top players coming back from a year ago. So that put a big hole on both sides of the ball, but especially defensively. But as I mentioned, Bobby Breakfast was one of the guys that came in and filled in and did a great job.
Nice. So overall, 36-0, great on the score. But like you said, started off slow. Does that help keep the kids in check when they see, oh, wait, we're not perfect yet, so don't get the big hit?
Well, I think they know we got a lot of work to do, on both sides of the ball. And I do think that they understand that the bigger games are ahead of us, and as we talk about, you're only as good as your next play and you're only as good as your next game. So our focus is on getting better on a daily basis and try to improve as a team and get focused on the next one. So I do think that there's a little bit of confidence that gets built whenever you have some success like that. But I do think our players and our coaching staff are well aware and understand that we've got to improve a lot if we want to do much in the future.
Got it. Well, speaking of the future, you have Churchill coming up. They won their game. So somebody's must go this week. What do you expect from Churchill?
Well, Churchill is a very, very traditionally strong program. They've been down a little bit for a couple of years, but they had a good group that was young for the last couple of years, and now they're kind of that more seasoned veteran team, and they're going to be very physical down in the trenches. They have great linebacker play and then a real solid quarterback on the offensive side of the ball. So I do know that we're going to get a great game out of them. We've been fortunate against them the last couple of years, and I know that they feel like it's their time. So I expect a tough, hard-nosed football game, and we're going to have to eliminate some of the mistakes we made last week and try to improve all around, both offensively and defensively. And, of course, the old saying goes, if they don't score, we win. And, of course, we've got the shutout last week, but it's going to be a big, big challenge for us to continue that type of defensive play.
Nice. And talk about their offense and defense. What do you expect them to line up in and run?
Now, defensively, they're a 3-4 defense. Like I mentioned, the two inside linebackers especially are very, very active and very good. They got a good defensive front with their nose guard and two defensive tackles. And so they're going to be very physical up front, and it's going to be tough sledding overall. And our offensive line is going to have to step up. We're going to have to try to hide the football with our misdirection stuff, and hopefully get some good angle blocks on them and get some things pop through there and just be consistent. Offensively, they're a multiple front, multiple style offense. They're going to be, a pretty balanced run pass team, but probably a little heavier on the run, probably throw the ball more than the teams we've seen recently, but still like to run the ball pretty well. But big, strong quarterback that they do a lot of things with.
Nice. And one final question about last week's game. What was the key play or moment that you remember as either made you smile big or made you laugh out loud?
Well, we were having little struggles in the first half moving the ball up and down the field, but never been able to punch it in. And so finally, right before half, us being able to score a touchdown. We were already up 2-0 because of the safety, but had struggled getting the ball across that goal line. But once we finally punched it in and made the game 8-0 right there before half, that was a big momentum play for us. Then in the second half, Tyler McAville came in and scrambled around and threw a touchdown pass to Jace Thomas and kind of picked up the momentum for the second half. So those were two big plays that I felt like really made me smile, but more importantly gave us the momentum to continue and get the game under control.
I love it. Well, Coach Goad, congratulations on the win and best of luck this week against Churchill.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.